Deck us all with Boston Charlie, Walla Walla Wash, Kalamazoo, Nora's freezing on the trolley, swallow dollar cauliflower, alligaroo. Hi, I'm Jim Juback, and welcome to my YouTube video for Wednesday, December 21st. It's almost Christmas. Hey, what do you think this is all about? And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you won't have any trouble keeping track of us. Subscribing is free, so I urge you to do that. So we're going to do one last video for 2022, and that'll go up on the 26th, the Monday after Christmas. And then we're going to go dark for a week while we nurse our wounds from receiving nothing but a stocking full of coal for Christmas. Anyway, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. So as I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free. That way you get a notification of when we do the next one. Always good to keep track of this stuff. And if you would like more of my stuff, you can go to my free site. That's jubackpicks.com. It's got 3 portfolios, including an income portfolio. And you can get more, 6 portfolios instead of 3, which has got some ETFs and some options and some really long and not so long portfolios. And it's my paid site at jubackam.com. You can find that stuff down below. Okay, this is a peculiar market, and here's what's peculiar about it. I would say the topic for today is fear is still on a holiday. Now, on the day when I'm recording this, which is the 20th, the market is struggling to avoid getting a 5-day losing streak. Here's the chart for the S&P. You can see that, hey, from the 6th on down, it's pretty much been down, and then some of it's getting seriously down. Okay, what's curious about this is that it's clear that we're seeing a narrowing of safety in the market. So for example, on the 19th, when the market was down, airline stocks, which had been up for a while, sold off really strongly. I mean, American Airlines was down 2.58. This is a day when the S&P itself was down only 0.9%. But and you can see the number of safe stocks. Not even all of the pharmaceuticals were safe. We had Coke was up though, 0.14, not a lot of money. PepsiCo was up 0.55%. AbbVie was up 0.63, but you really had to search for these little few pockets of green. So the market looks like it's in a downturn. It looks like we're not seeing much safety. But what's curious is the VIX, which is the CBOE Volatility Index. I'm going to put that up right now, which is called the Fear Index. And what it does is it tracks prices for options on the S&P, options and futures. And what happens to the VIX is that when people get fearful, they tend to buy more options as hedges against volatility, and so the VIX goes up because the prices of the options going up. So a higher VIX means there's more fear in the market. A lower VIX, when no one's buying options, means that there's less fear in the market, and that's where we are now, which is really curious given what's going on. So right now, as I record this, the VIX is down to 22.16. An average on the VIX is for long term is probably somewhere around 17, 18, 19. So we're really toward the lower end of the scale. That, in fact, we're approaching some of the lowest levels for the VIX for 2022. We had a low of 19.06 on the 2nd of December. Remember, today we're at 22.15. So another three points. On the 18th, we had a low of 1951. Going all the way back to April, we had 1857. The highs on the VIX, on the other hand, so recent spikes in fear, on December 12th, we were at 25. On October 11th, we were at 33. So you can see, if you look at the chart, we're way down here. We're looking like we're headed down to match some of these lows. Here are the highs. What's curious about this is the market stinks right now. You're looking at stinks is a technical term. Look it up if you don't understand. We're looking at a 4 or 5 day downturn. We're looking at all kinds of negative news. So why is the VIX not going up? And I think the reason basically is that hey, it's the holidays, so people aren't putting on big bets one way or another. But to the degree that there are bets, people are basically betting, hey, it's the end of the year when the market always goes up. I'm not going to hedge. I'm not going to spend money to hedge for a further decline in the market. In fact, I'm going to stay out of the options market in terms of hedging. And so the VIX won't move because people aren't buying more hedges. It doesn't mean the market is really optimistic, but you're getting, I think, a short-term bet that the market is still going to go up, and people aren't willing to spend money to hedge against to hedge against a downturn. So if you want to play short term, I think the VIX is really interesting here. So you're looking at 22.19. You could go out maybe 30, 60, 60 days is usually better. Buy a call option, which will pay off if the VIX goes up. And I think given where we are, 22.9, 19 as lows, 25 or 33 as highs. This is an interesting options play for a return of fear or rationality, whichever you prefer, in 2023. So thanks for watching. It's been Jim Juback. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you get notification when we're doing the next one. You can go to my free site, gbackpicks.com, for 3 portfolios. You can go to my paid site, gbackam.com. That will have this options play, and we do ETFs and really long-term stuff, which is very, very interesting right now. It's being hammered, but hey, if you're a long-term investor, this is where I think you ought to be playing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a Merry Christmas.